If you work with data, you already know this. The answer already exists inside your systems, but they can be hard to reach. Before we built InQery, we were living that every day. A simple question like, which customers are at the highest risk of churn this quarter, would turn into a mini project. We would jump between product databases, analytical tools, data warehouses. We'd switch between dev and prod environments that are all technically part of the same business, but live in different places. With different schemas, rules, and SQL dialects, we weren't so much blocked by skill, we were blocked by friction. We saw the same pattern with every team we worked with. Developers spending time digging through schemas and relationships, data engineers translating business questions into queries across multiple environments, analysts stuck waiting because they couldn't safely touch half the systems they needed. By the time the report made it all the way through the tickets, reviews, and fixes, the business question had often already changed. The data was there, it just wasn't accessible. That's where the idea for InQery came from. We asked ourselves a simple question. What if the barrier wasn't people, but language? Every database has its own way of speaking, every environment has its own quirks, every team has its own naming conventions, rules, and what it can trust. And then AI arrived. Suddenly, we could ask a generic model to write a SQL query. But it still didn't know our world. It didn't know our schemas. It didn't know which fields had been deprecated. It didn't know the difference between tables that were actually being used and the ones that were just historical leftovers. That's when the vision became clear. The future isn't just AI that knows SQL. The future is a data-aware AI agents that know your data. Agents that can read your schemas and relationships, understand your environments, dev, test, or prod, follow your naming conventions and business logic, and then use all of that context to reason about your questions. In the future, teams don't start with, where does this data live? How do we query it? They start with, here's what we need to understand. And then the data-aware agent does the rest. And that's why we built InQery. InQery takes that vision and makes it real today. When someone asks, what was our churn rate last quarter? They don't need to know which system it lives in or how it was stitched together. They can just ask their question and the agent identifies the right fields, writes the correct query across the correct systems, executes it, and then turns that result into a visualization automatically. For developers, this means less time mapping environments and more time building real product value. For analysts and business teams, it means they can finally move at the speed of their questions. We built InQery because we believe data should be an accelerant, not a bottleneck. Because we believe developers shouldn't have to be tour guides through every corner of the data stack. And because we believe AI is only truly useful when it understands the data it's working with. InQery is our answer to that belief. A data-aware AI agent that lets every team access the insights they already own without the chaos. Welcome to InQery.